welcome back to NavMath. Today we're going to go over our new unit 6, which talks about quadratics. Lesson 1 talks about area and perimeter. And here are our objectives for today. Today's objective: I will be able to determine the amount of fence needed for a Minecraft garden by calculating its perimeter. And 2, determine the amount of material needed to build a garden by calculating the area. The other day, I was playing Minecraft and I realized I don't know how much fencing I need for this garden. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a video of what that looks like. So I'm going to start off by trying to put a fence over this garden. Well, let's see. I know that my width of my garden, so how wide my garden is 12 squares. So I'm going to go 12 squares at the bottom. Then I'm trying to figure out, all right, so what's my length of the garden? So the length is 10 squares. So there's 10 squares of fencing. I'm going to put it at the top. And also put it on the side. Oh, there's my pig. Cool. So I have this garden and I put a fence over it. And that's what it looks like. Okay. If we're back at our notes, right, this is what it's saying. So Miss Chan is trying to build a fence around the garden that she is building in Minecraft, but she doesn't know how much materials she needs. She needs to calculate the perimeter of the garden. Here's a picture of the garden. How will she figure out the perimeter? Well, first you're probably asking, what does perimeter mean, right? What does it mean to calculate the perimeter? Well, the perimeter is the distance around a flat object. So in your notes, in this section, you're going to go ahead and delete the lines and type in distance. Now you're probably asking, what's a flat object? Well, a flat object is something that looks like this, just like a circle, right? And not a flat object is something that's 3D, like a sphere, right? So a flat object would be like flat on a table, while as a not a flat object is something that you can actually grab. Okay, so then how do you calculate the perimeter? Well, first, I'm going to answer this question. Which number represents the length and which number represents the width? Well, the length is right here. This is the 10, the length. And the width, or how wide something is the 12. So in your box, you're going to write 10 for the length and 12 for the width. Okay, so the length is 10 and the width is 12. So there's actually 2 ways to calculate the perimeter. Method 1 is by adding all the sides together. So in this case, we have length plus W plus W. And I know that the length is 10, so I'm going to do 10 plus 10. And the width is 12 plus 12. So I have 10 plus 10 plus 12 plus 12. Which if I add all these together, it gives me 44 units. And I'm calling these units because I don't know if this was in inches or in feet or in meter. So I always just say units. Another way to calculate perimeter is using a formula. Okay, so the formula is 2 times W plus 2 times L. So what that means is we're doing, and again, W means width and L means length. So since the width was 12, I'm going to plug 12 in for W. So 2 times 12. And since the length was 10, I'm going to do 2 times 10. So that equals to 2 times 12 is 24. 2 times 10 is 20. And then 24 plus 20 gives me 44. So that's how you can check if your answer is correct, right? You can use method 1 or method 2. Both will give you the correct answer. So I'm going to go back up to my picture. I'm going to label this to help you understand. All right, this is something that you don't have to do in your picture. So because this is a rectangle, I know that this side is equal to this side, which means that this also needs to be a 10. The top and the bottom are equal, so this is also 12. And if I add all these together, if I add these all up, right, I get 12 plus 10 plus 10 plus another 12, which is 44. And that's what I got from my equation. Okay. If you don't know what the difference is between a square and a rectangle, go ahead and click on these two links and it'll show you a picture and a definition. Area. Area is the amount of space inside a shape. Think of this as how much soil you need to fill a garden. So if I wanted to find the area of the garden to figure out how much soil I needed, if I needed to figure out how much soil I needed for my garden, that means I'm calculating the area. You can also think of this as trying to find how much paint you need to paint the wall of your room. We use the same formula to find the area of a rectangle and a square. So here's here's the equation of an area. We have area equals length times width. So I'm going to label this again. 10 is the length and W is the width. So what's the area of this garden? And this is the part that you need to type into your document. I would wait till you watch the video first and then type it in. So area equals length times width. Our length is 10 and our width is 12. So 10 times 12 is 120 units squared. So the reason why we're doing units squared is because we're doing 10 units times 12 units. And 10 times 12 is 120. And units times units is unit squared. Okay. So think of it as doing like x times x is x squared. Okay. So that's how we calculate area and perimeter. What I want you to do now is stop in your notes, okay? I'm going to go over 2 problems in this video, and you're going to do some questions in the video. Once you finish the 2 questions in the video, or the questions in the video and watching the examples, then you're going to go back to your document and complete the practice problems. So the first one is going to be a model, okay? This problem gives you a shape that says that the length is 9 and the width is 8. So I'm going to label this as length and this is width. Okay. So first part asks me to find the perimeter. Well, I know that the perimeter is equal to W plus W plus L plus L. So I have 8 plus 8 plus 9 plus 9. 8 plus 8 is 16. 9 plus 9 is 18. And if I put this into a calculator, this would give me 34 units. Okay. Area is found by doing length times width. So area equals 9 times 8. And this has an area of 72 units squared. Okay. We're going to try this next one together. I'm going to pause at certain points for you to answer the question before I give you the answers. So, there are 2 ways to find the perimeter. What are the 2 ways to find the perimeter? Well, perimeter can be found by adding all the sides. So I can add all the sides. So I can do P equals 9 plus 9 plus 2 plus 2. And let me label this so that it's easier for you to understand. So if the left side is 9, the right side is also 9. If the top part is 2, the bottom part is also 2. So I'd add all those together. So P equals, and then I'm going to have you put your answer right here. What would this perimeter be? So P equals 9 plus 9 is 18. 2 plus 2 is 4. So this gives me 22. Let's say I wanted to use the equation. Well, P equals 2L plus 2W. So that's 2 times 9 plus 2 times 2. 18 plus 4, which is 22. Okay. When you're doing this in your Google Doc, you don't have to fill out row 1 and row 2. You only have to fill out rows 3, 4, and 5. You also do not have to write out all your steps. I just want the answers. Okay. Next, I want to find the area. Okay. What's the equation for an area? So area is length times width. And in this case, our length is 9 and our width is 2. What's the area of this shape? The area is 18. And it's units squared. Okay. For this next problem, I want you to submit your answers on Edpuzzle. So what is the perimeter of this square? So the perimeter is 28. What's the perimeter of the, what's the area of the square? The area is 49. Go ahead and complete the next section on your own. There is a challenge problem at the end. You do not have to do it, but I do suggest that you try it. That is all for today. Check back in on Thursday and Friday for your next lesson.